I'll create an engaging 800-word story for part 1 of Hold My Drink Moment. Humans just shook the galaxy in third-person style with simple English. Here's the story. Hold My Drink Moment. Humans just shook the galaxy. The gleaming halls of the Galactic Confederation headquarters towered over Ambassador Jia Kim. Today marked Earth's official entry into galactic society. Jia straightened her blue uniform, feeling small among the 7-foot-tall aliens who glided past her. This was humanity's big moment, and she was determined not to mess it up. "Human, you are in the path," rumbled a tall, scaled diplomat. "Oh." Alien's 4 eyes blinked at her with obvious annoyance. "Sorry," Jia said, stepping aside. "First day." The alien snorted and moved on without another word. Jia sighed. 6 months of preparation, and still no one took humans seriously. In the main chamber, thousands of representatives from over 300 planets sat in rising tiers. Each species had its own section. The human section, just 3 seats, sat at the very bottom, next to the refreshment area. Jia took her place between her 2 teammates, Dr. Moon, Earth's lead scientist, and General Park, head of Earth's defense forces. Both looked as uncomfortable as she felt. "Remember," Jia whispered, "we just observed today. No talking unless spoken to." Dr. Moon nodded, his old eyes taking in the massive chamber. "These species have been space traveling for thousands of years. We've barely left our solar system. Which is why we stay quiet and learn," said Jia. The session leader, a floating blue creature named Arbiter Vox, called the meeting to order. "Today we welcome Earth to our Confederation," the Arbiter announced without much excitement. "Humans join us as a Category 4 civilization, still developing basic faster-than-light travel." Quiet laughter rippled through the chamber. Jia's face burned, but she kept her diplomatic smile fixed in place. The meeting moved to its main topic: resource allocation for the next 100 years. Maps of star systems flashed on the giant screens. Jia noticed Earth's solar system was labeled as minimal resources, low priority. During a short break, Jia headed to the refreshment area. She picked up a drink that the serving robot assured was safe for humans. It glowed slightly green. Near the drinks table, 2 tall diplomats spoke in what they thought was a private conversation. Jia recognized them as Balarians, an advanced race known for their mining operations. "The humans expect equal mining rights," one laughed, "as if their primitive ships could even reach the outer systems. We should restrict them to their local area," the other agreed. "They'll destroy themselves before they become a problem." "Did you see their propulsion systems? Still using fusion drives like children playing with toys." Jia's hand tightened around her drink. Earth desperately needed resources to grow. Being locked into their local area would cripple human expansion for centuries. "The Council votes tomorrow on sector restrictions," said the first Balarian. "The humans won't even understand what hit them." Jia stepped away, mind racing. She had to do something. Back at their seats, she told Dr. Moon and General Park what she'd heard. "They're going to box us in before we even get started," General Park growled. Dr. Moon looked worried. "We can't fight this. We have no standing here. Maybe we don't need to fight," Jia said slowly. "Maybe we need to impress them." She pulled out her data pad and sent an urgent message to Earth Command, requesting immediate authorization. The reply came back quickly. "Authorized, good luck." During the afternoon session, the Council discussed a troubling situation in the Proxima sector. A dying star was becoming unstable, threatening 3 inhabited planets. "Evacuation will take at least 20 years, said a reptilian speaker. "Millions will be displaced." "We could try stabilizing the star," suggested another, "but our models show a 30% chance of catastrophic failure." Jia raised her hand. The Arbiter, surprised, acknowledged her. "Earth may have a solution," Jia said, standing. The chamber went silent. "We've been working on stellar manipulation technology." Laughter erupted across the hall. "The species that can barely reach its own moon wants to stabilize a star?" called out someone. Jia smiled calmly. "Sometimes the newest perspective sees what others miss." She nodded to Dr. Moon, who projected Earth's solution onto the main screen. The laughter died as the aliens studied the proposal. It was unconventional but oddly practical. "This is untested," said the Arbiter cautiously. "Yes," agreed Gia, "but our calculations show a 95% chance of success." "Impossible," declared a Balerian scientist. "Your technology is too primitive." Gia handed her glowing drink to General Park. With steady eyes locked on the Balerian, she said clearly so everyone could hear, "Hold my drink. We'll show you what humans can do." The news of Earth's bold proposal spread through the Galactic Confederation like wildfire. Ambassador Gia Kim's challenge had shocked the Council chambers, especially coming from the newest and least advanced member species. Within hours, the story of the human who said, "Hold my drink" to the most powerful beings in the galaxy became the talk of every diplomatic corridor. 2 days later, Gia sat in a cramped meeting room surrounded by scientists from 12 different species. The star in question, HD 7893, was a massive neutron star spiraling toward 3 inhabited planets in the Proxima sector. "Let me be clear," said Drex, the lead Balerian scientist. "Your proposal will never work." His long gray fingers tapped impatiently on the table. "Neutron stars cannot be redirected." "Every model says it's impossible," added another alien with skin like polished emerald. "The energy required would destroy anything near it." Dr. Moon calmly displayed Earth's calculations on the wall screen. "Our approach doesn't try to push the star directly. We create a gravity well to alter its course gradually." "With what technology?" demanded Drex. "Your species barely has interstellar travel." Gia watched as Dr. Moon explained the plan again. Earth had been working on antimatter containment technology for decades in secret. While other species focused on elegant energy solutions, humans had pursued the messier, more dangerous path of controlled antimatter detonations. "The risk is too great," declared the Council's senior scientist. "We will proceed with evacuation plans." After the meeting, Gia received an unexpected message. "Meet me at the observation deck, come alone." The observation deck was nearly empty when she arrived. A single figure stood at the window, Governor Tay of Proxima III, one of the threatened planets. "Ambassador Kim," he said quietly. His skin was pale blue with small ridges above his eyes. "I heard what happened in the Council." "I'm sorry they rejected our plan," Gia said. 3 million of my people will lose their homes," Governor Tay said. "The evacuation will take 20 years. Many will die waiting." Gia looked out at the stars. The Council made their decision. "What if—" Governor Tay hesitated. "What if Earth acted without Council approval?" Gia turned to him, surprised. "That would violate Confederation law." "My people face extinction," said Tay. "I'm willing to break some rules to save them." For a long moment, Gia was silent. Going against the Council could mean Earth's expulsion from the Confederation before they'd even properly joined. But standing by while millions suffered went against everything she believed in. "Can your ships reach the Proxima sector without being detected?" asked Tay. "We have ways," Gia said carefully. "But we would need somewhere to stage the operation." "I can provide that," said Tay. "My third moon has an old mining facility. No one goes there anymore." Later that night, Gia sent an encrypted message to Earth. "Operation Stellar Shepherd is go. Send the team." 7 days later, 3 unmarked ships left Earth carrying the best scientists and engineers humanity had to offer. Captain Han led the mission, with 5 antimatter devices carefully stored in special containment units. Each device had the power to destroy a small moon. Meanwhile, Gia played her part in the Council chambers, attending meetings and pretending to accept defeat. Dr. Moon traveled secretly to Proxima to join the mission, leaving General Park to cover for his absence. On Proxima's third moon, Governor Tay greeted the human ships personally. "You're risking everything," he said to Captain Han. "So are you," Han replied. The facility was dusty and abandoned, but the humans quickly set up their equipment. Engineers worked around the clock to prepare the antimatter devices while scientists finalized their calculations. Dr. Moon supervised the work, his hands steady despite his age. The timing must be perfect, he told the team. Too early or too late and will make things worse. Unknown to them, a Balerian intelligence ship had detected unusual activity around Proxima 3. Suspicious, they sent a small probe to investigate, The fourth day, as the humans prepared to launch the first device, the probe discovered their operation. Within hours, the Confederation Security Force received word of the unauthorized human mission. In the council chambers, Gia was in the middle of a routine meeting when guards surrounded her. Ambassador Kim, announced the Arbiter, you are charged with violating Confederation security protocols and endangering the Proxima sector. As she was led away, Gia managed to send one final message to Captain Han. We've been discovered. It's now or never. On Proxima's moon, Captain Han gathered his team. The Confederation is coming to shut us down, he said. We launch immediately. As the first antimatter device rocketed toward its position near the neutron star, Gia sat in a detention cell waiting. Either humans would save millions and change galactic history, or they would fail spectacularly. Either way, there was no going back. The first antimatter device soared through space, its silver hull gleaming against the stars. Captain Han watched from the command center on Proxima's third moon, his eyes fixed on the tracking screen. Behind him, 20 of Earth's best engineers and scientists worked frantically at their stations. First device approaching deployment. Coordinates, announced Su Bin, the lead engineer. Her fingers flew across the control panel, making final adjustments. The room fell silent. This was the moment that would either save millions or prove the Confederation right about humans being reckless primitives. Deploy in 3, 2, 1. Su Bin pressed the activation sequence. Hundreds of thousands of kilometers away, the antimatter device positioned itself near the neutron star's edge. Its containment field opened precisely as designed, releasing a controlled burst of antimatter into the star's gravity well. The initial explosion was beautiful, a perfect blue sphere that expanded and then collapsed inward. The tracking screens showed the energy pulse rippling through the star's outer layers. Energy release at 98% of predicted levels, reported Dr. Kang, watching the data stream in. First gravitational shift detected. Captain Han allowed himself a small smile. 1 down, 4 to go. But their celebration was cut short when the communication officer shouted, Captain, 3 Confederation warships just entered the system. The ships were massive, each 10 times larger than anything Earth had built. Their message was clear and cold. Human vessels, power down immediately. You are in violation of Confederation Security Directive 775. Captain Han opened a channel. This is Captain Han of Earth. We're conducting an emergency operation to save the Proxima planets. Your operation is not authorized, came the reply. Power down now or we will disable your vessels. Han looked at his team. No one spoke, but their faces showed the same determination. They had come too far to stop now. Continue with deployment of Device 2, Han ordered. As the second device launched, the lead Confederation ship fired a warning shot that exploded just outside their perimeter. Governor Tay entered the command center, his face tense. My government just received orders to arrest all humans on Proxima 3. How long can you stall them? Asked Han. A few hours at most, said Tay. After that, we'll both be considered criminals. The second antimatter device reached its position and detonated successfully. The neutron star's trajectory showed a slight change, not enough to save the planets, but proof their approach was working. Sir, called out Lieutenant Du from the sensor station, something's happening to the star. It's reacting differently than our models predicted. On the main screen, they watched as strange ripples appeared across the star's surface. Bursts of energy shot outward in patterns no human scientist had ever seen. The star's internal structure is changing, said Dr. Kang, his voice filled with wonder. It's like it's responding to the antimatter. An urgent message arrived from the Balerian science vessel that had been observing from a safe distance. Humans, cease your operation immediately. The star is developing a quantum feedback loop. You're going to cause a supernova. Han turned to his science team. Is that possible? Dr. Kang and Subin checked their readings frantically. Not according to our data, Subin said. The star is stabilizing, not destabilizing. They don't understand what they're seeing, added Dr. Kang. This reaction wasn't in their models. Han made his decision. Launch Device 3. As the third device sped toward its target, the Confederation ships moved into blocking positions. One fired directly at the device, missing by mere kilometers. They're trying to stop us, said Han. Modify the trajectory. Use the star's gravity to slingshot around their blockade. Subin's fingers danced across her console, reprogramming the device mid-flight. The small craft dove toward the star, using its gravity to accelerate, then curved, around in a perfect arc that the larger Confederation ships couldn't match. Detonation in 30 seconds, she announced. The Confederation commander made one final plea. Captain Han, the Galactic Science Council has reviewed your telemetry. The star's reaction is unprecedented. Please abort until further analysis can be conducted. Han looked at the planets on his display. 3 worlds with billions of lives. Then he looked at his team's data showing the star's gradual course correction. Your models were wrong from the start, Han replied. We're continuing. The third antimatter device detonated, creating a cascade reaction that rippled through the star's core. The energy patterns intensified, forming complex geometric shapes across the star's surface. Captain, Subin said quietly, the Balerians are right about one thing. We've never seen this reaction before. We're in uncharted territory. But is it working? Han asked. Dr. Kang pointed to his screen. The star's trajectory has shifted 7%. We need at least 20% to save all 3 planets. Han nodded. Then we continue. Prepare devices 4 and 5 for simultaneous deployment. As his team worked, Han stepped to the window and looked out at the distant star. Humans had never attempted anything like this before. They were either about to save billions of lives or create a catastrophe. Either way, the galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. Ready for final deployment, called Subin. Han took a deep breath. Launch. The 4th and 5th antimatter devices sped toward the neutron star, their trajectories carefully calculated to create the perfect gravitational shift. Captain Han and his team watched anxiously as the devices approached their targets. The Confederation ships had backed off, realizing they couldn't stop the operation now. Instead, they observed from a distance, their sensors recording everything. Devices 4 and 5 will detonate in 60 seconds, Subin announced. All systems nominal. Dr. Kang frowned at his screen. Captain, I'm detecting strange fluctuations in the star's core. These readings don't match our simulations. Han leaned over to look. The neutron star's inner structure was behaving erratically, pulsing in unexpected patterns. What does it mean? Han asked. I'm not sure, Dr. Kang admitted. But the star seems more reactive than our models predicted. The devices detonated simultaneously, creating twin bursts of energy that merged into a beautiful wave of blue-white light. For a moment it seemed perfect. Then alarms blared across the command center. The reaction is destabilizing, Subin shouted. Energy levels are spiking beyond predicted parameters. On the main screen, they watched in horror as the neutron star began to pulse violently. Massive flares erupted from its surface, shooting millions of kilometers into space. New trajectory calculation complete, Dr. Kang said, his voice hollow. The shift is only 15%. Not enough to save all 3 planets. Silence fell over the command center. After everything they had risked, they had failed. Proxima 3 would still be destroyed. The Confederation was right, someone whispered. Captain Han stood motionless, staring at the display. Then he turned to face his team. We're not done yet, he said firmly. We still have options. We've used all 5 devices, Subin reminded him. There's nothing left. What about the ship's core? Suggested Jin, a quiet engineer who rarely spoke. Our main vessel has an antimatter reactor. If we could reconfigure it, that would require manually adjusting the containment field, Subin said, from inside the reactor chamber. Everyone understood what that meant. Whoever did it wouldn't survive. "I'll call for volunteers," Han began. "No need," Jin said, standing. "It was my idea. I'll go." "You'll need help," said Day, another engineer. "The adjustments require at least 2 people." Before anyone could argue, alarms sounded again. The neutron star was becoming more unstable. "If we're going to do this, it must be now," Dr. Kang warned. Han looked at Jin and Day. "Are you sure?" They nodded. "Then go. We'll guide you through it." As Jin and Day prepared, Governor Tay received a message from the Confederation fleet. "They're ordering all ships to evacuate the system," Tay reported. "They believe the star will go supernova." "Are they sending rescue ships for the planets?" Han asked. Tay shook his head. "There's no time. They're writing off Proxima III. Han's jaw tightened. "Everyone has a choice. Anyone who wants to evacuate can take our second ship." Not a single crew member moved. Jin and Day boarded the main vessel and flew it toward the neutron star. The rest of the team stayed in constant communication, guiding them through the complex process of reconfiguring the ship's reactor. "Approaching. Optimal position," Jin reported, his voice steady despite the danger. "Core reconfiguration at 60%, added Day. On the monitors, the ship looked tiny against the raging neutron star. Massive energy flares reached out like hungry fingers, barely missing the vessel. "Warning," came the ship's automated voice. "Radiation levels exceeding safe parameters." "Ignore that," Jin said. "We're almost there." Subin guided them through the final adjustments. "You'll need to manually override the containment safeties, that panel to your right, Day." "Got it," Day replied. His voice was getting weaker. The radiation was taking its toll. Neither man had much time left. "Containment field reconfigured," Jin reported. "Ready for detonation sequence." Captain Han took a deep breath. "Jin, Day." "Thank you." "Just doing our job, Captain," Jin replied. "For Earth. For everyone." "Initiating detonation sequence," Day said. 10 seconds. The command center fell silent as they counted down. When they reached 0, the screen flashed white. The ship's antimatter core released its energy in a perfectly controlled burst, far more powerful than the previous devices combined. The neutron star seemed to pause for a moment, then shifted. When the sensors cleared, Dr. Kang checked the readings with trembling hands. "New trajectory calculation," he announced. 23% shift. The star will miss all 3 planets. Cheers erupted across the command center. Even Governor Tay was shouting with joy. But Captain Han stood quiet, thinking of Jin and Day. Their sacrifice had saved billions of lives, but no one outside this room would ever know their names. Confederation ships approached cautiously. Their commander's voice came through the speakers. "Human station, we are at a loss for words. Our sensors confirm the neutron star's new trajectory. Proxima III is safe." Han straightened his shoulders. "Perhaps next time you'll listen when humans offer to help." As the adrenaline faded, the reality of what they had accomplished began to sink in. Humans, the newcomers, the primitives, had just altered the course of a neutron star, something no species in the Confederation had ever achieved. "Send word to Earth," Han told his communications officer. Tell them it worked." Ambassador Jia Kim stood tall before the Galactic Confederation Council. The enormous chamber was packed tighter than she had ever seen it. Species from across the galaxy had come to witness this historic session. Just 3 weeks ago, humans had been dismissed as primitive newcomers. Now they commanded the attention of the entire galactic community. The Arbiter called for silence. This emergency session will address the events in the Proxima system and the actions taken by Earth representatives. Jia glanced at Captain Han and Dr. Moon, who stood beside her. They had been released from detention only hours earlier. The captain's face remained calm, though Jia knew he was still grieving for Jin and Day. The Balerian science director rose first. "What the humans achieved should have been impossible. Our most advanced models indicated a minimum 20%. Course change was needed to save Proxima III. Yet somehow, with technology that should be centuries behind ours, they achieved a 23% shift. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Furthermore, continued the Balerian, the neutron star exhibited behavior never before documented in Confederation history. We have been studying stellar mechanics for 10,000 years, yet these newcomers discovered something we missed. The Arbiter turned to Gia. Ambassador Kim, the Council acknowledges that your actions saved billions of lives. However, you violated numerous Confederation protocols. What explanation do you offer? Gia stepped forward. When we joined the Confederation, we were told all members were equal. Yet when we offered a solution, we were dismissed because of our status as newcomers. 2 brave humans died to prove that sometimes a fresh perspective sees what experience misses. She paused, letting her words sink in. Earth did not develop antimatter containment technology yesterday. We've been refining it for decades. But we kept quiet about our advances because we understood how the Confederation views younger species. This caused an uproar. Several delegates shouted questions and accusations. You deliberately concealed your technological capabilities? Demanded a Vexillian representative. We shared exactly what we were expected to share. Gia replied calmly. No more, no less. The Confederation classification system assumes that technological advancement follows a predictable path. Humans took a different path. Governor Tay of Proxima III stood next. My people owe their lives to Earth. 3 billion citizens would have lost their homes. Many would have died during evacuation. Instead, our planet was saved by a species we had barely acknowledged. The chamber grew quiet as the implications sank in. If humans had hidden antimatter technology, what else might they be concealing? In the days that followed, Earth's diplomatic offices were flooded with meeting requests. Species that had previously ignored humans now sought technological exchanges, trade agreements, and alliances. Dr. Moon found himself surrounded by Confederation scientists eager to understand how humans had developed their unique approach to stellar mechanics. Captain Han was invited to address the Galactic Military Academy about the mission, but the most significant meeting occurred in a private chamber, away from public eyes. Gia sat across from the Arbiter and the heads of the Confederation's 5 most powerful species. The restriction vote on Earth's expansion rights has been cancelled, the Arbiter informed her. Instead, the Council proposes granting Earth Category 2 status, with full access to the outer systems. Gia kept her expression neutral. And what does the Confederation expect in return? Full disclosure of Earth's technological capabilities, said the Balerian Chancellor. No more secrets, Gia smiled slightly. Earth will share its antimatter containment technology freely. As for our other developments, we'll share them when we believe the Confederation is ready. That is not how the Confederation operates, the Arbiter said stiffly. Perhaps it's time for new operations, Gia suggested. A system where younger species aren't automatically dismissed, where good ideas matter more than age or history. The leaders exchanged glances. Finally, the Arbiter nodded slowly. Very well. We will recommend a review of classification protocols. Earth may maintain some technological privacy for now. Back on Earth, the news of humanity's success spread like wildfire. People celebrated in the streets. Jin and Day were honored as heroes. Their families granted the highest civilian awards. In her office overlooking the Pacific Ocean, Gia read the latest reports from across the galaxy. Trade offers, diplomatic overtures, scientific exchange proposals, all from species that had ignored Earth just weeks ago. Her assistant entered with more messages. The Vexillians want to discuss our propulsion systems. The Balerians are offering mining rights in 3 sectors, and 6 other species want to send delegations immediately. Gia looked out at the ocean. Earth had planned this moment for years, appearing less advanced than they were, waiting for the right opportunity to show their true capabilities. The hold my drink strategy, as General Park called it. Tell them all yes, she said. But make sure they understand one thing. Earth joins the galactic community as an equal, not as a junior partner. As her assistant left, Gia smiled. Humans had just shaken the galaxy, and this was only the beginning.